addition of unlike denominators. So go get the fraction blocks, I guess you'd call them, and we're going to model adding fractions. Once you have them, lay your number 1 over 1, or the whole, out. And here's our story problem. Hillary is making a tote bag for her friends. She uses 1/2 yards of blue fabric and 1/4 of red fabric. So find your 1/2 strip. Please put it under the 1 hole, plus 1/4. Now, first of all, when I look at this, I know when I put those two numbers together, because it wants to know how much fabric does Hillary use. I know if she puts those together, it's less than 1 hole. I've got a chunk here. Now is my time to start doing some experimenting or finding the common denominator. So I'm going to try and find a fraction block that equals both of these. Underneath, nope, halves doesn't work. So I'm just going to try 1/4. And that does equal exactly. So 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. And I can also double check that by asking myself, can 4 be a multiple of 2? Yes. Can 4 be a multiple of 4? Yes. So my answer is 3/4 fabric, because I always want to, 3/4 yards of fabric, because I always want to put a label when I have a story problem. Alright, now let's move on. And if I was going to do 3/5 plus 1/2, so clear your board except for your 1 hole. Let's do the steps. Step 1, work with another student. Place 3 1/5 fraction strips under the 1 hole strip. Then place a 1/2 strip beside the 3 1/5 strips. Now, if I do that, you will notice, will it be more than a hole or less than a hole? Find the fraction strips, all with the same denominator, that are equivalent to 3/5 and 1/2. Place the fraction strips under the sum. Write the equivalent fraction. So what is the same thing as 3/5? So please go through and stop the tape and go through and find out what's equivalent to 3/5. Okay, you're back, and I think you found out that it is 6 tenths. And I want to do the same thing with the 1/2. Remember, we have to have a common denominator, so see if you can get some tenths to fit underneath the 3/5 or 1/2. And I think you did. I think you found 5 tenths. Now, if I add the fractions of like denominators, I have 2 like denominators. I have 6 tenths plus 5 tenths equals 11/10. Now, if I look at 11/10, I know that it's past that. If I think about this, 10/10 equals 1 whole, because whenever your numerator and your denominator number is exactly the same, you have 1 whole. So if I have 11 and I take away 10, I have 1 left. Well, that is my numerator, and my denominator always stays the same. So that means I have 1/10 left over. So when I write this out, I could have wrote 1 whole and 1/10, because these two are equivalent to each other. My denominator doesn't, once I have a like denominator, that doesn't change. But I can subtract off what I used with the 10/10s to make a whole. If you don't understand that, make sure you call the teacher over and let's get that clarified before we move on. Okay, now is your time for your assignment. I want you to put these on a white piece of paper, and I want you to work them with your partner. If you need the fraction strips, please use them. That's what they're there for. Please write all these out. You have a story problem here, and this should say, show your work. I want to see what you're doing. Some more story problems. More work. This is your homework and your work. So let's see how far we can get. Should be done by tomorrow. Go to work, girls, boys.